Eyes of Autonomy, Ch.7. Mom leads me into the dining room where I meet my two younger brothers. Josh is 7 and Joel is 5. Joel was born with a rare trait that's left him lame and in a wheelchair, but that doesn't stop his zeal one bit. It's interesting. I've never met a person that was different like Joel before. In the state, there aren't people with disabilities. The state always reassigns those people at birth. I can't help but feel sick to my stomach when I think about it. All those people the state reassigned could have been just as happy as him, but they were murdered. I just never saw them as people till now. Both boys both share my black hair and small nose. Both are fascinated with superheroes, so when they're told their sister is a freak science experiment, they assumed I'd be like a character in a comic. They show me on the table. I wish I was a hero, but the truth is I'm just a messed up teen that's good with knife skills and languages. Joel and Josh are more excited that I brought a dog into a family than my parents are. I can tell that Mom doesn't like it by the expression that she has on her face every time her and the dog make eye contact. It looks like she's eaten something bitter. Dad explains that I was confiscated when they lost the war. My parents were told many of the experimental kids didn't live, so they tried to move on with the assumption that I was dead, but now I'm here, sitting at their table eating Mom's overcooked lamb chops. Maybe I'm jet lagged, but it all feels dreamlike meeting them. Mother sits dabbing the side of her lips with a linen napkin, and I can't help but study the shape of her face and how remarkably similar it is to mine. The state may have genetically modified me, but these people still share my genetics. After I choke down the horrible lamb, Az and Lily go home, and my family takes me on a tour of our cottage. Our cottage is homely and quiet. It's a craftsman-style house my father built 20 miles west of a city called Cowtown, which was once called Fort Worth. My parents were originally from Los Angeles, but had to flee when the state took power. We all share one bathroom between the boys' room and mine. The floors are made of unfinished wood that's cold under my bare feet. The wood adds more color to the house, unlike the shielding where all the floors were cold white tiles. Mom covers my bed with a freshly washed pink flower comforter. She decorated this room for me in a soft pink color. It's weird to imagine that they expect me to live all alone in this room. When I break Gia out of the shielding, maybe my parents will adopt her and we can share this room. It just seems lonely here without all the noise. One day I hope I'll be close with Joel and Josh like I am with Gia and Ross. I missed you, Mom sits on my bed, making a crinkling sound. I bite my lip. Why did you miss me? I mean, you never really knew me. You're my kid, she smiles weakly, turning her face to the side as if what I said was ridiculous. I gaze at the flowery room. Pink is my favorite color, I think. Oh, that's perfect. I'll keep my throwing knives on that wall. All the clothing here is dyed in light springtime colors. I didn't imagine that being my style, but I accept the innocent look. You can put the knives away now. You don't have to fight anymore. I plop myself down on the bed next to her. If only that were true. Joanne, you can't go back. I know they're your friends, but we're your family. You're too young to be by yourself. She strokes my back with her fingertips. It feels nice, comforting. I shouldn't get too comfortable. First of all, my name's Piper. It always has been for as long as I can remember. We may be related by blood, but the kids in the shielding are my real family. And I think I can manage being on my own for a week or so. I survived worse things for 14 years alone. 10 years. You were 4 when they took you. Her eyes turn red again. I've cut her with my words. Guilt cuts into me. I should say sorry, but that would be weak. I want to say sorry, though. Peanut's feet patter on the wood floors as he stumbles into the room, and Dad comes behind him. Az and Lily turned it in for the night, and the boys are getting restless, so I thought it would be a good time to pray. I put Peanut onto the bed as the boys hurry into the room. I'm vaguely familiar with the concept of religion. The state has strictly raised me to be humanist, which is the belief that humans are the highest intelligent beings. They said religion was a thing of the past, that we had evolved past. My mother tells me that she was Baptist, but my father was religiously Jewish, so they met in the middle with a concept called Messianic Judaism. As Dad is praying, Peanut leaves my side and settles onto Joel's lap. Joel smiles softly, stroking his coarse fur. Where did you get the dog? Mom asks, pointing at Joel with the hairbrush that she is using to comb my wiry hair. After I broke out of prison, I broke the dog out of the dog prison. I laugh, retelling the story of breaking the dog out. I think he's Joel's dog now. Mom laughs nervously. Great, we always wanted a dog. You hate dogs, Josh interrupts. Josh rarely speaks, but when he does, It's not nearly as sweet as Joel. Josh is a good football player and he knows it. One day I'll teach him how to box, so he'll be ready for his mandatory service in the military, because according to my parents, every Texan serves in the Texas Armed Forces from the age of 18 years old to 22. Dad moves the conversation back to me, asking a million questions about my childhood and life in the state. What was the worst thing about living in the state? All I can do is stare at the ugly flower pattern on the sheets, contemplating what I hate the most. The way they just murdered people in cold blood is awful, but I think the fear is the worst. The fear of wondering if you measure up to the laws and codes of the state. That's all too heavy to talk about here, especially since I don't really know these people. The food was pretty terrible too. Well, get as much food as you want, Mom smiles. I love you, Joanne. They pause nervously, wondering if I'll say it in return. I'll never be used to hearing someone call me by that name, Joanne. My mouth feels like cotton as I'm faced with a conflicting ideal. I've just met these people and I'd give my life to protect them, especially Joel, who has tamed the untamable Peanut. They're my blood, and maybe there's some similarities in our genetic traits that makes me fond of them, or perhaps it's something deeper I don't understand. On the other hand, I can't be too vulnerable in my new environment. I'm glad you found me, I say, letting myself smile. I add, I'm glad to live here with you guys. You're nicer than the state ever was. I see a Mom and Dad smile. I did it. When they shut the door, it's pitch black and eerily silent. There's no blue light, no racket from the other detainees. I've always wanted peace for as long as I can remember, but now the quiet feels lonely. The bed is much softer here than mine back in the shielding, but I can't get comfortable. Every few minutes I turn on the other side, trying to fall asleep. In the shielding, I wasn't allowed to leave my dorm whenever I couldn't sleep. I had to stay up all night staring at the wall or talk to Gia. But here I almost forget I'm free to get up and go walk around. I don't have to go to bed now. I'm free. It should be comforting, but all this freedom feels like a void. Maybe the feeling will go away when I get used to it. But I don't really know what to do, so I just wait here, pretending that I have to be here until I fall asleep. In the morning light, I can see how beautiful the land is. The land my parents own is rolling fields spotted with cattle. The house is on top of a hill in full view of a lake that glitters in the early morning rays of sun. The grass is greener here, because the rays of sun don't bear down so hard on the earth like they do in the desert. I just want to run through the grass, and I can do it because I'm free. The liberty that felt overbearing in the night seems more lighthearted in the daylight. The air smells like dewdrops, and the sky is wide so I can see everything. The cloudless sky is full of birds that fill the morning air with sweet song. Everywhere on earth is more alive than dusty Wash Creek. It's a shame the colorful birds scatter when the home phone in the kitchen rings. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. It's been super fun recording the last 7 chapters, and Chapter 8, Lord willing, will be recorded next week as well. I just wanted to tell you guys that Book 2 is coming soon. I'm finished writing it. It's finished kind of being edited at this point. I'm just waiting on some beta readers and some final edits before we start going farther with the design. If you're interested in Book 2, please visit the website. You can see it on the link that's on the channel page and also on the Instagram, and it should be in the link below as well. You can see more about the book. I'm super excited. It's about Penelope Bunter, who you kind of are going to see at the end of this book, but it's more of her perspective on what happened right after Piper leaves the shielding and she's here in Texas as she was in this chapter. So I can't wait to keep y'all updated, and I'm super excited. Anyway, stay tuned.